9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NFTV Extra. This is an under 23 video. It's been a couple of weeks or so since we've done an under 23 video. So thank you very much, first of all, for everybody on the progress of this channel. We've been looking at the analytics and it's done really well, in particular the last week. So a big shout out to the lads who have uploaded themselves. As my cat disappears, doesn't want to talk to us. Right, so we're going to be talking a little bit about keep, sell or loan. We'll be doing this for the main channel towards the end of the season, but we're going to rattle through 22 players from the under 23s. I'll read some of your messages out if you do fire any over in the comments towards the end of the video, but we're going to begin straight away with the goalkeepers. But just before I do that, actually, the 4 lads that were released are not included in this list. Of course, Victor Fernandez, who I go on about all the time, has sadly been released because of his injuries. Of course, I would have kept him, but this list is all about the current 22 and the under 23s. So let's begin with Jake Turner, and this might surprise some of us. I would actually sell him. Our first choice under 23 goalkeeper. The reason being is he had a spell out with Bolton when they were in financial difficulties. He came to Newcastle. He's number 1. I'm not really impressed by him, unfortunately, and he's, by all means, I'd be more than happy for Jake to go out and prove me wrong. I'm just not keen on him. Seen him a few times this season / last season, if you want to, whatever you want to call the season that's just ended. Not really convinced by him, unfortunately. So if we can sell him, I don't think it'll be much money. You're probably talking a couple of 100,000. That'll be it. But for me, Jake Turner, I just don't think he's ready for first team football, so I would sell him. Dan Langley, who has been involved in first team training, a local lad, I would actually keep him. And what I would actually do if we were to sell Jake Turner, I would actually make Dan Langley first choice under 23 goalkeeper. Fred Woodman, as we know, is no longer part of the under 23s. He'll be first team, whether it's at Newcastle, whether he plays or not, or goes back on Swansea. But Dan Langley, I would actually keep, and I would actually make him number 1 next season. I would go on and say that. The next one, moving to defenders, and Stefan O'Connor, who we re-signed just after the summer. I thought it was a little bit bizarre that we re-signed him. I don't know why, to be honest with you. 22, 23 now. Released at Arsenal, has been at Newcastle for a couple of years. Not a regular in the under 23s, barely featured. Time to release him. We're not getting any money from him, don't get me wrong, but it's time to release O'Connor. Just think he's not up to it for me. The next lad, 100% keep Kelland Watts. Been out at loan twice at 2 different clubs this season. He's progressed. I've seen it on the main video tonight as well. There's a couple of shouts for Kelland Watts to be involved against Spurs. I think he will be in pre-season. What I would like to do is keep him, not loan him out, and I would like to see him be part of the first team squad. You might look at it and think, we've got too many centre-backs at Newcastle. But what I would do is I'll probably get rid of a couple of them. Fabian Schär's only got a year left on his deal. You could probably cash in on him. We know that Fernandez has signed a contract. Kieran Clark, will he play? Who knows? But with Kelland Watts, I'd actually bring him into the first team. Not necessarily play, of course, but maybe the odd cup game. But just that experience with better players around him, I would actually bring Kelland Watts into the first team. The next one is North Shields lad. Don't tell the other 2 that are on the channel because they'll bang on about the postcode about that. But Lewis Cass, who can play in several positions, predominantly right back, centre back. I think now is the time for Lewis for me. I'd actually send him out on loan. I think he's been around the under 23s now for a couple of years. Hasn't had a loan spell out yet. I think that'll do him the world of good to get the experience to go out, learn his trade, play against men. So for Lewis Cass would be a loan spell. Same again for Ludwig Francilette. Signed him last season. A couple of people were saying that he was good, but I've seen a couple of errors by him as well, leading to goals. So big, strong centre-back. I think having him now, he's played it was a regular in the under 23s this season. For me, I would like to say get him out on loan to a lower league side, see how he gets on, see if he can cope with it. He's got the physique. Has he got the mentality? And has he got the performance in him? Well, only time will tell. I think now's the time to loan the Frenchman out. Same as again, Oisin McEntee, who signed a contract last week, extension. The Irishman, who was born in New York, now's the time again for me. Obviously, with all these players I'm running through, you can't loan them all out and sell all of them, of course not. But I've had it my way. This is what I would do. Please let me know in the comments. But with Oisin McEntee, now is the time to loan him out. Graduated from the under-18s to under-23, a regular centre-back, can also fill in defensive midfield if you need be. But again, for me, I think having another season in under-23s isn't any good for him. So now's the time for me to get him out on loan and experience it. Unfortunately for Ollie Walters, with Ollie, I would sell him. Yes, he is a local lad, very workmanlike, hard work and full back, predominantly right back, but can also fill in at left back. Again, similar to Jake Turner, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. I think he's getting up and down the byline is a problem for him, getting up to attack. Don't get me wrong, defending, he's very old school, your traditional defender. But for me, Ollie Walters, he needs progression. You might say I'm being a little bit harsh. Maybe he needs a loan spell out. But for me, I think now there's time for Walters to leave the club. The next one is Ryan Barrett, and I'll keep him. Again, another one who signed a contract extension recently. Massive injuries last season. He needs first team football in terms of under-23s, I mean, if that makes sense. So he needs to play regularly with the under-23s, be a regular in there. And for me, with a lot of injuries, you can make that right-back position his own, get some football in there, see how he progresses the Welshman, and then maybe look at next season to possibly firing him out on loan. Another lad who I'll keep who was Jude Swailes, who came up from the under-18s to the under-23s this season. I'm saying this season because for me, the season hasn't ended, if that makes sense. With the it has, but it hasn't, if that makes sense. But Jude Swailes, definitely keep him. Again, now we can go on, if we do loan out some of the other two lads, bring Kelland Watts into the first team. There's an opportunity for Jude Swailes straight away. Jude Swailes, sorry, not Jade. Apologies. As my phone is going absolutely cracker, so that's the lads messaging in there. But I'm going to move across now to another North Shields lad, and it's Owen Bailey, captain of the under-23s. He's hanging around the under-23s now for a little bit too long. I think now's the time to get him a loan spell out. And again, similar to the rest of the lads, he needs that loan. I think another season in the under-23s is just no good for him. I know he's captain. You're going to point somebody else. Get him out in the lower league, see how he develops. Obviously, he can play defensive midfield. He can play centre-back. There's opportunity there for me. So for Bailey, get him out. Kyle Scott, not impressed. I have not been impressed by, well, you can call him American youth or you can call him an English youth. He's dual citizenship, hasn't he? I just haven't been impressed. We've got him from Chelsea on a free last summer. That first, and it wasn't really first choice. Don't get me wrong, he had a lot of injuries, but he came off the bench. He started a few. Not for me. Not for me. I think now's the time to move him on. I think he's at that age. He's not one of the younger lads in the under-23s for me, but for Kyle Scott, I would move him on. I know you're not going to get much money for these lads, but yeah. Mo Sangare, right. Mo Sangare needs first-team football. The reason why I'm saying this is now he's a Liberia international, a regular for the call-ups for the squads. And it's really a little bit unheard of that you have under-23 squads with an international in there who never made a first-team appearance. I don't think he will at Newcastle. I think Newcastle probably will strengthen if they don't sign Bentleb and Longstaff. I think Sangare needs a loan spell out now and see how he develops. He's getting picked for the national side and he hasn't made a first-team appearance. How long will that continue? He's at that age now where he needs football, so a loan spell would be fantastic for him. Same again for Rosaire Longelo. We got him from West Ham. His brother still plays for West Ham's youth. Left winger, left back. Same again for me. I think it's make or break for the winger. He needs to get out on loan. I wouldn't sell him just yet because I do think there is a bit of promise in there, but he needs first-team football. A lot of these lads do. Another season in the 23s, not for me. Not for me. You need to get out. Adam Wilson, I would actually keep in the under-23s. Had a lot of injuries this season. Reminds me of Roland Aarons. Very pacey, very direct, full of tricks, left winger. Can also fill in left wing back, left back if needed. But for me, I think a run of games, make that left wing position his own, be a regular, nail it. He is the first choice for the under-23s next season. Let's fingers crossed that he has an injury-free hit season. Elliott Anderson, another NE29. I'm giving a few secrets away here. Scottish Youth International. Fantastic, brilliant under-23 season, the season just gone. Would you play him again for another under-23 season because he's had a great one, or would you go and test him? Get him out on loan. Get him out on loan. See how he develops. What's the worst going to happen? 3-month loan, a 6-month loan, a full season to a lower league team. That's what I would do with Anderson. I think he's one to watch. And Lucas de Bolle, who was with the under-18s earlier on this season, called up to the under-23s, and he's a bit of a rotated player. I think next season, I think he'll be more involved with the under-23s, and that makes sense to keep him in the under-23 squad and see how he develops. And I think he probably will become a mainstay in that side. Another one, and then this one is a lad who was well thought of, Joe White, a Carlisle lad. Very talented, plays for England already. Again, with the under, it's quite similar to Lucas de Bolle. He was with the under-18s, and now he's a regular rotated player in the under-23s. Again, next season, I think for Joe White, I think he will be kept on. I think he'll be kept in the under-23s, and I think he'll become a regular. And then you can look at it and think, has he developed? Can he impress? We'll have to wait and see on that one, but definitely keep. Another lad, Jack Young, who was on the bench last week against Manchester City, a midfielder who likes to dictate the play and pass it and move it. So for me, for Jack Young, it was his first full under-23 season, the season just gone. Another under-23 campaign. If he continues to impress, then Bruce might look at him, assuming Bruce is in charge, bring him into the first team, let him train with the first team, see how he gets on. For me, for Jack Young, I think he would develop more with the under-23s. And then if you want to loan him out, if he hasn't progressed as what you thought, so be it. For me, Tom Allan, I would actually take him out of the under-23s and move him to the first team. I would. I think you need some youngsters in that first team because they don't necessarily have to be registered with the 25-man squad. Allan obviously started off as a right winger, but chipped in with a few goals by playing up top. He's the penalty taker for the under-23s. Made his debut, of course, earlier on this season. Got an assist for Joe Linton in the FA Cup game against Rochdale off the top of my head. Very pacey, very direct, niche for a goal. I think I would move him to the first team, let him train, and then drop him in the under-23 matches occasionally. But for Tom Allan, I think now is the time to move him to the first team. And this is a difficult one with Elias Sorensen. We're moving on to strikers now. There's only 3 strikers. With Elias Sorensen, it's tough because the loan spells that he has had haven't been successful. But what would be the point if you've got Tom Allan, for me, for Tom Allan moving at the first team and Elias Sorensen having another season in the under-23s? We know he can score goals. We know that, what we're learning by having another season there. Get him out on loan, even if he has to drop down to League Two, even to the conference, to toughen him up a bit and learn a bit more about first team. I think the loan spells that he's had, he would have learned, because now he's in a first team environment where he's not playing mentally. He would have took a lot in, having his loan spells out, in particular Carlisle, definitely. So again, for me, I'll get him out on loan. And the last one on our list before I read your comments out, there is a couple that have come through, so please fire your comments in as soon as possible. Yannick Toure, I'll keep him. Very solid, very muscular, powerful, can create a chance on his own. What I would like to see him is get some scrappy goals, start getting in the 6-yard box, a bit like Dwight Gale does for us recently. I'd like to see that from Yannick Toure. We know he's got pace and power. Let's try and get some nimble goals. Make him your first choice striker next season. Obviously, we've seen Luke Charman leave, move Tom Allan to first team, and our loan Sorensen out. There's an opportunity there for Yannick Toure because he's still one of the younger lads in the under-23s. So I would keep Yannick Toure. Let's have a look at your couple of comments which have come in. Is through Jamie Jimmy says, when is the takeover actually happening? Sorry, mate, wrong channel. We don't talk about the takeover. I'll answer it, of course. We're just waiting for the piracy, but let's hope. And of course, the NE29 is that postcode by regular commentator Geordie. Yeah, there's a few lads in the under-23s that are from North Shields, but I try not to tell the rest of the lads because I don't know, because they'll keep mentioning it on video. But we don't want any more NE29s because we'll have Johnny and Kyle at it continuously. But that's your video. That is my keep, sell, and loan. Like I mentioned, we'll do a first team towards the end of the season. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy your night. Ta-ra. Bye-bye.